Sweegle Mom Scraps design team layout. I am also playing along with 30 Days of Sketches, and this is my sketch. I was so excited when Christy said that she was going to pick my sketch to be one of the days. If you're not familiar with 30 Days of Sketches, where have you been? I'm just kidding. It is a super, super fun series. This is the 12th series, or the 12th time that we have done 30 Days of Sketches. And essentially, Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life picks a sketch for every day of the month, and then everybody plays along with that sketch. There is a master playlist that you can go ahead and add your videos to if you're playing along. Some people do all 30 sketches and play along the whole month. Other people kind of play whenever they can, or pick certain sketches that they really are drawn to and really love. So you can play as little or as much as you want. There is a Facebook group, so you can join in if you don't want to post videos or share on social media or anything like that, but you'd like to play along and post in the group. So I will leave that link for you down below, so you can definitely share your creations. You don't have to do it in the same order. You can take longer if you want. So if you're continuing to try and get all the sketches done, but it's past June, don't let that stop you. You can always jump into the group at any time. You can go back and look at other series, whatever works for you. It's pretty casual, pretty easygoing, and it's all about having fun. So that is the name of the game. The links will be down below, also on Instagram and places like that too. So if you see something that catches your eye and you'd love to play along, by all means, please do. And so my sketch was day 5. Yes, it was day 5. And so cool to see everybody tagging me in their takes on the sketch. There is so much amazing talent out there. It's just, it blows my mind every time how incredibly creative this community is. I absolutely love it. But of course, I wanted to play along with my own sketch too. Now, this is a sketch that I actually created based off of a design that I had already done. So I put the layout together and I really liked how it turned out. And so I created the sketch to kind of remember the design that I had put together. And I do that sometimes. I create sketches quite often. So I've just been kind of growing my collection of my own sketches. And so sometimes if I do a layout that I really enjoy, I'll go ahead and create a sketch based off of that. And then it's just a way for me to kind of remember that design. It's fun to revisit it occasionally. And sometimes a sketch is, working with a sketch is a little bit different than doing a scrap lift, which you can scrap lift yourself. Absolutely. So I just kind of like that when you're putting a sketch together, sometimes you rework things and you're not really looking at a specific picture or anything like that. So it's just a kind of a different way of looking at designing a page. And so this is, I guess, technically the second time that I've actually done this sort of design, working backwards from, whoops, did you hear that? There was a big bump outside. Sorry about that. Working backwards from the layout that I had created a few years ago, and then now to the sketch, and now recreating, I guess, that sketch into another layout. So these are some pictures from a couple of years ago during COVID. One of those things that we tried to do to keep ourselves busy is we decided to go on a little bit of an adventure, and we knew that there was a mystery monolith. I know those kind of cropped up all over the place, but several of them cropped up in our area as, I think, sort of an awareness to maintaining healthy drinking water and the Alberta water systems and lakes and rivers and stuff. And so we knew that one had popped up about an hour away from us, and we decided to go and see if we could find it. And so that's what we did. We bundled up the kids. It was just actually the 3 boys, and got in the car and decided to go for a little bit of a drive, and we found it. It was pretty cool and shiny and, fun. And you can see these little pictures here of my little guy who just really loved to look at himself in the kind of shiny mirror of the Monolith, and it was super adorable. And he's wearing this cute little Yoda hat, and he just looks like this, sweet little roly-poly thing. It was very, very cute. And so that's what the pictures are. And I don't know how many more times I'm going to say cute, but I'm probably going to say them a few more times because I just love this. He was still kind of a brand new munchkin for us at this point. This was maybe only a couple of months after he had been placed with us. So, he was super adorable, and we absolutely loved his big smile, his big kind of gummy, toothy grin that he had. He wasn't even quite walking in these pictures yet, so sweet. But I really wanted to bring in that kind of mirror theme, and that like shiny theme of this monolith that had been placed there. So that is where the inspiration, I guess you could say, for using all of this silver. And so I knew I had metallic paper, and you saw when I went to rip it. Oh, there he is saying hi. When I went to actually rip the paper, I realized that the silver is a coating that was sitting on top of the paper, and the paper itself was just cardboard. So that is that kind of white paper that I ripped, that you saw me peeling the silver off of. I wanted the ripped look. I thought that would be fun, and that is what's in the sketch. But I realized I wasn't going to be able to rip through that silver because it is more of a plastic and it was a coating. And so I went ahead and peeled it all the way off, and I ripped the core paper, and that gave me some of the texture that I wanted. And because I'm using a black background and I used some white as my kind of splatter mixed media paint that you see in the sketch, I thought the core paper being white, that would be okay. I would kind of use that as the main layers going around the photos, and then I could go ahead and use the silver more as a foil than as a paper. And so I kind of sliced it. You could see there my scissors were able to cut through it, but then I could also kind of tear it once it started to go. I could not get it to tear. I actually practiced on another piece of this silver paper when I realized that it wasn't tearing properly. When you saw me do it on camera, I actually stopped for a second and I tried just testing it on a different piece of paper before going ahead and kind of deciding to do it this way. And I could not tear through it when it was attached to the back. So once I got that taken off, it's more like a foil. So I went ahead and I could kind of play around with it that way. And that is what I decided to do. So it was a lot more work, as you can see. But in the end, it's totally worth it because I love the little pops of that kind of shiny mirror. And it kind of, really drives home that what you see in the photos is this really shiny mirrored obelisk, I guess you could call it. So I went ahead and did the white first and did those kind of layers in behind the photos. And then I moved on to adding the little like silver foiling in there. I put the silver foiling around the edge, and then I went ahead and tucked it in behind the pictures. I have 4 pictures. They're not squares. My original layout when I did this was actually 4 square photos. These are 4 4x3 photos. It's actually just 2 4x6s that are printed, and so I just put the 2 of them together, and that worked out really good. So I just tucked a little bit of silver kind of in behind those and cut it so that you can still see some of that white cardstock, let's call it. It's more like a cardboard really, but you could still see some of that, and then also get these little peaks of the mirrored foil. And then I picked out 3 colors of pattern paper and 2 pattern papers, 1 cardstock paper that matched the colors that Landon is wearing. So there is his green Yoda hat, And then there is the red and black buffalo check little jacket he's wearing. And then he's got blue pants on. And so that is where these three papers come into play, is just pulling out the colors that are in the pictures. And that's where my layers came from. So in the sketch, that's basically what I kind of have represented, is just these layers, different layers of torn paper going around the outside, kind of building a frame around the outside of the paper. So I felt like the easiest thing to do would be to put the silver down first so that it could really be stuck down properly. And then I could build the layers on top of it and just have the silver kind of poking out. So I know at the very beginning when I was putting it all down, it looked like a bit of a hot mess. I have to admit, even I was kind of questioning myself. But as I started to put these torn pieces of paper together and kind of built this frame up, I love how it turned out. I think it turned out so fun. You can see little man sitting there right beside me watching. Anytime I'm scrapping pictures of him, he really likes to be involved. So yeah, that is what he's doing. Trying to get into that paint that I have left there drying that I used for my splatters and smushes. But yeah, I basically just tore the papers. I didn't want any of them to be the same size. I didn't want them to have the same shapes to them. And I didn't really want to make a pattern where I was sort of doing like the red, green, blue, anything like that. So I really tried to keep it balanced, but not completely uniform. And I think I did pretty good. And so I'm basically just kind of finding torn pieces. Oh, he's looking into the camera. He's so cute. Aw, he's talking to you guys is what he's doing. He loves to do that. So I think he was probably saying, hi guys. But yes, I just wanted to kind of have different pieces that are torn in different ways, that are layered up on that silver in different ways. So you don't necessarily see continuous silver. You'll just get little kind of hints and pops of the color poking through the layers of the pattern papers. So I glued those all down. I was using wet glue. I think it worked a lot better on the silver, and I just felt like it was going to adhere better. Oh, he is actually telling you guys goodbye because he wanted a popsicle, and so he was ready for me to be done so that we could go get a popsicle. So you might see him waving a couple of times. One day I should just let the actual like volume or the actual recordings that you hear from the from the live video, I should just let that roll and you guys could hear the conversations we have, because it's kind of funny sometimes when he's trying to figure out what exactly I'm doing. So but I won't do that today, because I think at this point he was kind of mad at me because I was still scrapbooking and not going to get him a popsicle. So but yes, I went ahead, I made my little border there, and then just to kind of bring those colors into the center and kind of bring everything together to focus on the pictures, I'm going to put little touches of each color just mixed into the layers with the photos as well. Not around the whole thing. I thought that might get too busy, but just on the two sides, and it just kind of draws your eye in right into the pictures. So that's what I'm doing there. I got a little bit of paint on my one photo. And then I'm going to go ahead and sequence everything up, because that is the feature for this video, is these amazing sequins. That is what actually reminded me of this picture and that I wanted to go ahead and use this picture. So we will get to those in a second. I'm going to pull out a couple other embellishments. In my sketch, I have 4 areas of embellishment, not super big, but just 4 little areas that I thought could be fun to add a few bits of embellishment. So I don't want to go too crazy with the embellishments on this one either. I'm going to keep everything really small, but I want to add a couple sequins. So here they are. Look at those moonshine sequins. They're so gorgeous. They are just like the mirror from the silver foil and the monolith itself. And so that, as soon as I saw those, I thought this is going to work really good for these particular photos. And And then I also have some puffy stickers. I used those in yesterday's layout as well, and I had 2 hearts left, so I used them here. Again, they have that silvery kind of mirrored look to them, so I thought that they would work really good. Actually, no, I said I used 2. I used 4 of them. I used 1 in each of the spots, kind of in the general spot where I have them in the sketch. So there's 4 hearts. I didn't use any of the plus signs in this particular layout. And then I had some white enamel dots, so I just threw a couple of those kind of in with the white splatters in the background. And then I added my title, which says Mystery Monolith. That kind of brought in some of the red color because I'm not going to add any red sequins or anything like that, but I did add a couple of the lime green ones. They're little lime green enamel dots, so I did add those. And I just wanted to make sure I had some red somewhere else too. So that's where the colors for the title came in. And then I grabbed my 2 packs of sequins. I grabbed the Maze Days sequins so I could use those gorgeous kind of gray toned iridescent ones. I thought those would look really stunning dotted around as a bit of a different tone. And then the moonshine ones, which I have been waiting and waiting to use. I just think they are so beautiful. I scattered them all over the place. I wanted them everywhere. So they're all over the splatters. They're in each of the little clusters by the hearts. And I even put them on my photos. Don't be afraid to stick things right down to your photos. We live in a day and age where you can definitely print them out again if you need to. So I went ahead and I dotted them all over. And that is it. That is my layout. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please go and click subscribe if you haven't already. I would love for you guys to join the family, and I super appreciate the support. There are links down below for Spiegel Mom Scraps, as well as my discount code, which is Jen15. And you can also find the master playlist for 30 days of sketches. So go and check that out. If you use my sketch, I'd love to see it. So share, and I will share it on my Instagram. And that is it for me. So until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.